Okay, good morning everyone. It's Friday, July 2nd, 2021, and we're going to get started with our pre-market analysis for the S&P 500 futures market. So let's jump right into it. We are coming into a holiday weekend here for July 4th. The market will be closed on Monday. It will trade in the morning hours from the Sunday Globex into I believe 9 a.m. Central Time, something like that. So we will not be here on Monday, and we'll get started on Tuesday of next week. So looking at the quarterly, same exact story that we've been talking about for quite a while. Same story on the monthly as well. No signs of exhaustion, both looking very strong. We get to our weekly, and it looks like the bar, which will close at the end of today, is still showing that bearish exhaustion pattern off of the high. So at least that's what it looks like right now. We'll have to revisit this at the end of the day to see what it's looking like. But right now, definitely showing a little bit of exhaustion here on the weekly. The daily looks very strong. Really no signs of exhaustion. Very strong, just like the monthly and the quarterly. And the 4 hours where we get our first little indication of exhaustion on the most recent bar that will close in about 52 minutes. So plenty of time for this to develop here over the next hour, especially considering how strong of a push we got out of the NFP at 5:30 Pacific, just a little bit earlier. We'll see if that carries through here. This could potentially push up, and then we would not have any exhaustion pattern on the 4 hour. And we've seen this happen many times before, where it looks like it's showing some type of pattern, but then by the time the bar actually closes, everything looks hunky-dory. So right now, there's somewhat of an argument for some bearishness on this most recent 4 hour candle, but it hasn't closed, so there's nothing official there to really hang our hats on just yet. When we get to the 60-minute, right now, you can see a very, let's take a look from that previous swing high. Actually, really not much of a divergence right now on the 60-minute. Yes, you can go back, you can come all the way back to this previous peak here and argue from these back here. But like I've been arguing recently, once I see something like this set up here, right off of this high, I want to now compare the next peak after that off of this most recent high. And so I don't necessarily see any sign of exhaustion there. We saw it back here in the overnight session, got a little bit of a pullback, and then got a bullish divergence here, and then we continued to carry through. So right now, I would argue on the 60-minute, not necessarily any signs of exhaustion either. Let's jump down to the intermediate time frames here and take a look at the 30-minute. And so on the 30-minute right now, you can see we have pushed higher. We got a little bit of an exhaustion pattern up top. Again, not really too surprising. You know, as we push, we are going to get these patterns that indicate some type of shallow pullback. We got that multiple times. This one ended up being a pretty strong pullback back yesterday. But something important to point out that I forgot to mention here, on all these time frames, if we go back, and I think it really starts on the 4 hour, because you can see this daily chart is just up, 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 and so is the RVI. There's not even really any chance to get any indications off these lows here. When you get to the 4 hour, the low that we made yesterday, our previous daily low at 86, we got a nice clean bullish divergence here on the 4 hour, on the 1 hour, and then back here on the 30-minute and on the 10-minute. So pretty much every single time frame is giving us a bullish signal from the previous daily low. And that's what we're seeing here coming into the morning, and a lot of these continuation patterns as price continues to push. So things look pretty strong, And just to kind of wrap things up here, the only high time frame that's showing any sign of exhaustion is the weekly, but we do have the rest of today for that to shake out. That picture could change. And then when we get to our 4 hour, there might be somewhat of an argument, but not necessarily. And then our 30 minutes. So there's kind of a few time frames showing bearishness on the push, but every time frame is showing bullishness from the previous daily low. And then as we push here and continue to go higher, we're getting these bullish indications off of the lows on the intermediate time frames, and then up here on the higher time frames. As we pull back, you can see we continue to get the continuation patterns and price continues to push. If we just zoom back here, this is a 60-minute chart, you can see ever since that sell-off that started on June 15th, we've been, just a rip your face off rally here, just kind of continuing to push and push and push. When is it going to end? I mean, we were saying that back in the 3000s. When is this going to kind of correct and maybe kind of level out? And it just continues to push. Who knows? Maybe we'll see 5,000 by the end of the year. Really not, too surprising considering how much we have pushed over the last 2 or 3 years. So that's where we're at right now. If we want to continue with our bullish case, then we're going to have to get through the overnight high. So it's kind of been a similar situation here for a few days now. We need to get through the all-time high, which we just made right after the news, the NFP came out. And so if we can get through that, a lot of those bearish signals will be negated. Look at the 10-minute right now. And yeah, that's kind of where we're at. Remember that we could have some type of pullback. And if that happens, we do have some key levels below us that we can look for. I'd still, even if we do sell off a little bit, I'd still be looking for longs as long as we have some clear bullish multiple time frame signals to take them and off of some of these more relevant levels below us. So that's where we'll leave it for this morning. I don't expect a lot of volume just because of the situation where we're entering into a long weekend here, holiday weekend. So happy trading.